Good evening and welcome to the Thursday, November the 8th, 2018 regular session of the Xenia City Council. We're ready to begin this evening, and we will begin first with a prayer led by Mr. Ron Swigert, who is the Green Memorial Hospital chaplain, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman Wesley Smith. If you would rise with me, please, for the prayer and pledge.
Let's pray together. Our God, we thank you tonight that we can come to you. Thank you, Lord, for your blessings upon this city. And Lord, tonight guide our leaders and just give them wisdom and help them, Lord, to serve in ways that please you. And so bless their lives, their families. We'll give you the praise. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Swigert and Councilman Smith. May I have roll call, please?
Vice President Wallace. Councilman Scrivens.
Present.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Here.
Councilman Smith.
Here.
Councilman Dean. Here. Mayor Mays.
Here.
President Ingle.
Here.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to excuse Vice President Wallace.
Thank you. Have a motion to excuse the Vice President. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Scrivens. Any discussion or question on the motion, please? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilman Scrivens.
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Aye.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean. Aye. Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Ingle.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. This time I have an opportunity for approval of minutes. First, the October 25th, 2018 special session.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Scrivens, seconded by Councilman Lauterbach. Any discussion or question on the first set of minutes, please? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilman Scrivens.
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Aye.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean. Aye. Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Ingle.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next, a motion, please, for the October 25th, 2018 regular session.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Lauterbach. Second, please.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Councilman Dean. Discussion or question on our second set of minutes, please. Seeing none, roll call.
Councilman Scrivens.
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Aye.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean. Aye. Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Ingle.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And finally, a motion for our November 1st, 2018 special session, please.
So moved.
Moved by the mayor. Second, please.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lauterbach. Discussion or question on our final set of minutes, please. Seeing none, roll call.
Councilman Scrivens.
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Aye.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean. Aye. Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Ingle.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. We have no special presentations scheduled for this evening, so we will move to audience comments. Anyone wishing to address the Xenia City Council this evening, please feel free to do so. Step to the podium, provide us your name and address. Limit your comments 4 to 5 minutes, please.
Hi there. So Alan Milkus, 135 East Church Street. So I just wanted to come and address the group about the new Y and the Reach Center. Let you guys know, I know some of you were there for the Hard Hat Tours. Wanted to let you know how those went. We had over 900 people come and go through that building. We had very positive comments. All the partners were there. We had over 40 volunteers giving tours, showing people around. It was a very happy time. So, you know, just wanted to invite everybody out to the next one, which is November 17th from 11 to 3. And construction's still on schedule as of Tuesday. So,
Thank you very much. Would anyone else care to come and address the Xenia City Council this evening, please? Seeing no one else come forward, we will move to old business. Only a single item under old business. It is a second reading, ordinance 2018-33, accepting the donation of property from the Young Men's Christian Association of Greater Dayton to the city of Xenia, Ohio, originally introduced by Councilman Latterback.
So moved.
Move for passage. Second, please.
Second.
Seconded by the Vice President. Any discussion or question on the motion, please? Councilman? Oh. Seeing none, roll call.
Vice President Wallace,
Aye.
Councilman Scrivens,
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach,
Aye.
Councilman Smith,
Aye.
Councilman Dean,
Aye.
Mayor Mays,
Aye.
President Ingram.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. We have no public hearings scheduled this evening, so we will move to our new business items. We have several. First item is ordinance 2018-34, an emergency, amending ordinance 2018-32 to provide appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures to the city of Xenia, Ohio for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2018, and declaring an emergency. Mr. Finance Director.
Thank you, Council President. We are requesting appropriations for a variety of purposes tonight. The first is related to a BWC, Bureau Workers' Comp, grant that was received by the Fire Division for particulate hoods and gloves. And the Finance Department has already received $10,329.95 for this purpose, but we're requesting tonight that the dollars be appropriated so we can spend those grant dollars that were awarded. Also, the City Finance Department, we prepare a CAF, or a Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, each year. We have a software that we use as we prepare that. For the last couple of years, we've been using a software that's unsupported. And so the maintenance agreement that was on that has expired. We don't pay maintenance on that. And we've found ways to make that work here for the last several years. As we tried to roll in next year's, well, I guess it's actually for the 2018 year that we would prepare in 19, we experienced some more significant problems and can't get any of those balances to roll forward. And so we were forced to go ahead and start looking at some other options for CAFR preparation software. As we looked at several different vendors, we did find one that would cost about $8,000 for implementation. It would also have some annual maintenance, about $3,000 a year, that are associated with that software. This is pretty affordable compared to some of the other systems we saw. One of the systems was as much as $60,000 for implementation. And so we feel like this is the best solution for the money. We do feel confident that this solution will allow us to prepare the reports as they need to be prepared. And so we're asking for an appropriation of $8,000 to go ahead and start rolling those balances forward here before the year ends so that we can prepare our financials in 2019 and meet the proper deadlines. We also have a few lines that have proven to be slightly under budgeted that are related to chargebacks that we do for our city garage fund and also for our IT fund. So we are requesting that additional appropriations be made for this purpose. This is basically taking dollars that are budgeted or that are in one fund and charging those back into another fund. So it's basically moving dollars from one fund into our internal service funds to cover the cost of some of those operations in garage and IT. And then finally, we are requesting an appropriation for law library contributions that were slightly under budgeted. These are fees that are paid that are related to court fines that are collected for offenses related to state statute. We are still doing some research here on what exactly our liability actually is. I know that what's been charged back through the court does require some additional appropriations. We may have a limit or a cap on what we are required to pay here that we're trying to do a little more research on. So it's possible we might be reimbursed for some of these dollars, but at this point, we're not really sure. What I do know is that what the court has charged back for those law library contributions are in excess of what's been appropriated so far this year. So we're asking that council also appropriate dollars for that purpose. And so we're asking that these appropriations tonight be approved as an emergency.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion, please, as an emergency?
So moved as an emergency.
Thank you. Moved by Councilman Lauterbach as emergency, seconded by the Vice President. Any discussion or question on this motion, please?
Sounds to me like it's an absolute necessity to proceed.
Thank you. Seeing none, roll call.
Vice President Wallace?
Aye.
Councilman Scrivens?
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach?
Aye.
Councilman Smith?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Mayor Mays?
Aye.
President Ingram.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Our next item is an introduction. It is ordinance 2018-35, appropriating fee simple interests and/or temporary construction easements in the properties located at 335 East Church Street, 182 North Columbus Street, 191 North Columbus Street, and the corner of North Columbus Street and East Church Street. Madam Law Director, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you will remember, we brought a resolution to you in September that council passed of our intent to appropriate these 4 properties. ODOT is doing what's been called the roundabout project at the corner of Church and Columbus Street. And one of the requirements of ODOT is that the city obtain the needed right-of-way and the temporary construction easements for that project. We were able to reach agreement with almost all property owners. There were 4 properties that we were not able to reach agreements on. Each property had 2 independent appraisals done on it to determine the fair market value. Of the 4 properties that are in this ordinance, there's one, we don't even have a street address for it. That's the one we describe as the corner of North Columbus and East Church. We're unable to ascertain who even owns that property. So we figured we would probably need to proceed with an appropriation on that. One of the properties we believe we've reached agreement on. We don't have anything signed yet. The other 2 we were not able to reach agreement on. So what we're asking tonight is that council introduce this ordinance. You would have your second reading and vote on the 20th. It would become effective on December 20th. And basically it authorizes the law director after that December 20th date to file petitions for appropriation to take those properties if we are not able to reach agreement with the owners by that time.
Thank you. May I have an introduction from one of my colleagues, please?
I'll introduce that, Mr. President.
Thank you. Introduced by Councilman Scrivens.
I'd like to hear a little more about, however, the values.
They are listed in the sections of the ordinance.
I see that, and I'd like to get an explanation as to why we're dealing with hundreds on section 2, 3, 4, and thousands on the other section. Can you give me a brief explanation of that?
Well, if you take a look at the exhibits that are attached, the pictures, they show you the amount, show you where the existing right-of-way is, where the proposed right-of-way would be, and then the temporary construction easement. And the temporary construction easement is, we're basically paying that property owner to be on their property while ODOT constructs this project. So if you look at Exhibit C, that's the one that's $15,000. You can see from the red line to the green line, that permanent right-of-way that we would be taking. So the value of that is much higher. Exhibit B, that was, if you look at the red, the existing right-of-way, the proposed right-of-way, it's very small. That's mostly a temporary construction easement, so the value of that's only a couple $100. Temporary construction easements, of course, are never gonna be as high in value. We're basically paying for the use, whereas a right-of-way, we're paying for a permanent easement over that property. So that's the difference in the values.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes.
now, how long will we hold open our highest and best offer before we actually expropriate the property?
Well, if council passes this on the 20th, and we of course would wait, if you do, we then have another 30 days to wait. We will reach out again to these property owners. The one that we cannot ascertain who the owner is, we know we're going to have to file a petition for appropriation on that. The last listed owner was from 1863. I've been to the clerk.
You see the chain of title?
Well, that gentleman died in Springfield in the 1930s.
Without any heirs?
I've been to the Clark County Court. I've pulled all those records. This property was not even mentioned in his will. At that time, of course, they listed daughters by their married names. One was in D.C., so trying to track
So
any
we've
of those
done the best that
down.
we could to
I've
locate
done everything I
the
could
heirs.
to try and find who the owners are. We advertised this. The clerk advertised for the unknown heirs. The gentleman's name was Nathaniel Williams, hoping someone would come forward. Someone still may, but we're sure we're probably going to have to file a petition on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good questions. Our next item is an administrative motion authorizing the city manager to purchase a uniform and mat rental service through the State of Ohio Department of Administrative Services Cooperative Purchasing Program. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, sir. This evening, our Public Service Department is requesting authorization to provide for uniform and mat rental services through the Cooperative Purchasing Program with the Ohio DAS, as mentioned. Services provides uniforms for our public service maintenance as well as our treatment plant personnel, as well as floor mats for various city facilities. Participation in this program is authorized under Section 208.10 of the city's administrative code. Competitive bidding is not required because it is through the cooperative purchasing programs. We are piggybacking on their cooperative bidding process. City's current contract with Cintas expires at the end of this year, so it's appropriate for us to line up services moving into 2019. We'd like to do so through an arrangement with the cooperative purchasing program. The prices are on a per item cost in there. It's fixed for a 5-year term, which is similar to our current contract. So per the agreement, services can be added or deleted as needed. So staff is recommending this evening the council authorize provision of the uniform and mat services with Cintas via the cooperative purchasing program.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion, please, to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Louderback. Second, please.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Smith. Discussion or question on this motion, please.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I have a question for City Manager. I just wanted to know if there was any significant cost difference between our current contract and this new through this.
I don't believe so. It's a slight increase, as you would expect from the last time. It was bid under the cooperative purchasing program, but it's not what I would call a substantive increase,
Okay.
Inflationary increase.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion or question, please? Seeing none, roll call.
Vice President Wells,
Aye.
Councilman Scrivens,
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach,
Aye.
Councilman Smith,
Aye.
Councilman Dean,
Aye.
Mayor Mays,
Aye.
President Ingle.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Now an administrative motion for authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract for property assessed clean energy administration. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, sir. This evening, we are recommending the council authorize staff to select and enter into a contract with a qualified PACE administrator for the provision of services to coordinate application and administrative functions of a PACE program. As mentioned, the Property Assessed Clean Energy, or PACE, financing in Ohio involves public-private cooperation between a property owner, a lender, a municipal corporation, to leverage a unique investment financing tool through an Energy Special Improvement District, or ESID. For qualifying projects within an ESID, a lender makes a loan to the commercial, industrial, or multifamily residential property owner for energy efficiency projects, which can include a broad array of project types. PACE allows a municipal corporation to levy special assessments on the property in installments sized to repay the loan and associated financing costs. PACE financing provides benefit to the local property owner, reinvesting in his or her property because it leverages the security of special assessments to open up new resources for capital. It allows for minimal initial personal capital investment and allows for better financing terms. Additionally, the debt instrument is attached to the property, not to the owner's balance sheet, bringing some value there. While PACE financing is not likely to be the primary funding resource needed for comprehensive redevelopment projects, it's nonetheless a pretty valuable tool as part of an overall toolkit for financing to bring security and value. In order to levy these special assessments, Ohio law does require the creation of an ESID. This is an administrative action that the city would take at a later date once the PACE administrator is brought on board to assist with the process. Candidly, the city does not have the in-house expertise to be able to set the ESID up and administer the program ourselves. So it's necessary to contract with a firm to help us get the ESID set up, to market the PACE program, to provide the administrative and technical support, including reviewing applications, making referrals, and associated activities. Council should bear in mind that the costs associated with the PACE administrative services are built into the financing agreements themselves, so there's no direct cost back on the city to be able to provide the service. City has already talked with several local individuals and firms that are interested in projects utilizing PACE program funding. So there's an immediate demand for the service, and so we do want to get this project rolling along as quickly as possible. It's for this reason that we're recommending council authorize staff to select a qualified firm through a competitive process and then contract with that firm immediately to expedite the process of getting the ESID stood up as quickly as we can. Of course, any final contract would have to be approved by the law director as to the appropriateness. But tonight, we're recommending an administrative motion authorizing us to move forward with the selection and contracting of the PACE administrator so we can get the program stood up.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion, please, to approve?
I'll move, sir.
Moved by the Vice President. Second, please.
Second.
Seconded by the Mayor. Discussion or question on this motion, please? My thanks to you, Mr. City Manager, and city staff for once again looking to bring programs in which can help with redevelopment and other things that are so desperately needed in our community and many others. Roll call, please.
Vice President Wallace?
Aye.
Councilman Scrivens?
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach?
Aye.
Councilman Smith?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Mayor Mays?
Aye.
President Ingle?
Aye.
Motion carried.
And last item under new business this evening is an administrative motion approving the schedule of bills in the amount of $682,355.46. Mr. Finance Director, anything to add?
I have nothing to add.
Thank you. Motion please to pay our bills this evening.
So moved.
I'll second.
I think you were already beaten to the punch. Moved by Councilman Lauterbach and seconded by Councilman Scrivens. We'll catch you on the next one.
That's fine.
Any discussion or question on the motion, please?
Mr. President.
Sorry.
Just a comment, a lot of these are, we're all big buy local fans, and I appreciate the city, most of these on there are, we can buy local when possible. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Councilman?
Just like to ask, on page 1, what do we use citric acid for? Is that part of a cleaning agent?
What fund is it?
About
It's in the
3/4 the way
sewer
down,
fund
Chemical
and-
Services, Inc.,
Yeah, it's forward.
the next to the last entry on page 1.
Yeah, it's in our sewer operation, so I would assume it has something to do with disinfectant there.
Okay.
It's used at the plants.
And we have private property trash removal. Can we start listing the property addresses when we do that? I mean, I want to know.
It really would, I guess, if that was something that council wanted to do, I think, I guess, we can certainly do it in finance. We can list the details of who we're paying, or what properties we're paying that for.
I mean, I see who we're paying. I just want to know for what.
That, or we could have a supplemental report.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a matter of whether or not you want to publish that as a part of the bills, but we could certainly do that if that's something council would like us to do.
We just like to know who it is, and it does not have to be as a part of this report. It could be.
Right.
And
This
we
could
can
be a
most certainly provide a
supplemental.
report that would include which addresses we've done that mowing for, absolutely.
And just one other one, Mr. President. We have dead tree removals there at Saw Arnovitz. I'm gonna have to get into the tree removal business here. That's just one tree?
If you can still climb them.
Yeah, man,
I can't.
That's, just one other thing, Mr. President. On the last page, page 5 at the top, Just Ink Tees, Explore Xenia umbrellas. Could you explain that one, please?
I can. We made a decision this year to get some city-branded umbrellas for our employees as a gift at Christmas time. Just something a little extra special to do. We looked at some other communities and what they do. This was a pretty cost-effective option for us. So.
You were in the Christmas present.
Thank you. Yeah, you just
Does that
you
include
ruined it for
council?
everyone, Councilman. But that's okay.
Wow, humbug. Some serious umbrellas here. Huh? I wonder what they.
Yeah, the reason it's
Did you leave your
because
green
it's
suit
because
at
of the
home?
volume. So we did get a deal on the volume because of the number, but that's for our employees.
All right, well, and TJ's Property Management, private lot mowing, again, on the supplemental, I'd like to see that.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Any other question on the bills, please? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Vice President Wallace?
Aye.
Councilman Scrivens?
Aye?
Councilman Lauterbach?
Aye.
Councilman Smith?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Mayor Mays?
Aye.
President Ingle?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. At this time, we will move to reports of committees. My report will be a little bit longer, so I will defer to last so as not to delay my colleagues. Moving to the Traffic Commission first, Councilman Dean.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Traffic Commission met on November 5th, where we discussed handicapped parking downtown and the potential for possibly adding more spaces.
Thank you. Anything for Traffic Commission and Councilman Dean, please? Thank you. Next is Planning and Zoning Commission. Looks like November meeting was canceled. Councilman Smith, anything else to add?
No, that is correct, Mr. President. There was no meeting in November due to lack of agenda items. The next scheduled meeting is Thursday, December 6th at 6 o'clock.
Okay. And Board of Zoning Appeals is next, which also it appears the October meeting was canceled. Anything to add, Mayor Mays?
No, no one filed for a variance, so we canceled.
No meeting. Okay. I will now deliver Board for Recreation, Arts, and Cultural Activities. Please bear with me. It's a little bit of an extended report this time, as we have many things going on, including the upcoming Hometown Christmas program. First off, just to close out our Bloom with Xenia and Adopt a Spot programs, obviously the flower pots downtown are being or have been cleaned out. We will be re-putting a decoration into those artificial Christmas trees this year that we hope will look very nice and very festive in the downtown. We are also pursuing at this time the usual youth recreational basketball program. As of meeting yesterday, 52 boys had come out to open gym practice, indicating that we will have an at-capacity boys league this year for the recreational program. 11 girls have come out, and there is also an open gym this evening. So obviously, we are hoping that more girls will come out, and we will have a more full slate of teams than just two. We are also still open for donations for that program. There are certain situations where a youth will want to participate in the program, but for any variety of reasons be unable to pay the $40 fee if you already have your uniform, or $70 fee if you are just participating for the first time in the program and you need a new uniform. So I had promised the Board for Recreation, Arts, and Cultural Activities that I would put that out for consideration by my colleagues, and also for anyone who is listening. If you would like to support one of the youth of Xenia to get some good exercise, learn team sports and sportsmanship, please consider a donation. Please contact the city clerk at 376-7235. I always try to mix up the twos in there. Thank you very much. Next item is Hometown Christmas. That is a little more than 2 weeks from now. It will be held on November 24th, 2018, which is also Small Business Saturday. We're intentionally, again this year, co-locating those two activities to enhance downtown business, and then obviously create festivities and such leading up to the Christmas season in the park and at other locations. Santa will arrive at Shawnee Park, and we'll be there at 2 and be there through the 5:30 hour, when we will close the line for Santa. At last year's Hometown Christmas, we had approximately 350 children come through the Santa house last year. We're obviously hoping and praying for good weather, such that we might have that kind of a crowd again, as it was a great event. Santa will arrive by an antique fire truck, and after that 5:30, and then hopefully the Santa house closing somewhere around 6 o'clock, the Xenia Ensemble will be at the pavilion at 6 p.m., followed by the Xenia High School Jazz Band at 6:30, and then Alexis Gomez will be at the pavilion at 7 p.m. We'll be having carriage rides earlier in the day at the downtown area from 12 to 3, and then carriage rides following from 4 to 8 p.m. after the horses can take a short break, starting at the park area. Those are some of the activities planned for the Hometown Christmas 2018. I believe it will be another spectacular event, as it was last year, and would encourage anyone and everyone to please come out and join for that. The tree committee has been active as well. They are seeking a couple of actions from citizens. They annually nominate heritage trees for recognition. They have found 3 this year: an American elm, a dawn redwood, and a sweet gum tree, which they are in the process of nominating for acknowledgement at council sometime later in the spring, probably around the Arbor Day timeframe. They are still open for other nominations, such that if you know of a very beautiful, historic, lovely shaped tree, please do not hesitate to again call the city clerk's office and provide that information, and we will get that to the heads of the tree committee. After that, there is a winter tree photography contest which will be going on. I'll be making more announcements about this later. It will start on the 21st of December and will run through the 1st of April. Again, as you see a beautiful scene in downtown Xenia with some of our trees, perhaps highlighted against snow and such, please feel free to take some pictures and again, work back through the city clerk's office and we can get those photographs to the tree committee for consideration. And then finally, much further into the next year, we will have Arbor Day, and I'll be talking about that more after the turn of the year. Now, if you will bear with me for a moment, please, I wanted to talk to you about something that is, I believe, very important for us to consider at this time of year. The Xenia High School City Council is once again this year participating in what's they call the Baskets for Battle campaign. That campaign is supporting people, both adults and children, who are battling cancer. My mom battled cancer for a number of years before finally passing away from it, so this issue is very near and dear to my heart, knowing that while watching my mom go through chemo, which is what these Battles of the Baskets are for, is to support people while they go through their chemotherapy. They can have some comforts in there that are sorely needed. Last year, for example, the student council was able to assemble and deliver 275 baskets to 5 hospitals in the area, including as far down, I think, as Cincinnati Children's Hospital. So they have done great work last year and are looking to do more again this year. The contact person for this at the high school is Deb, and I believe the pronunciation is Duntman, D-U-N-T-E-M-A-N. She can be reached at area code 937-562-9972. And courtesy of my wife, rather than listing off some of the things that are needed for these baskets, I have examples.
Nice blanket.
Fuzzy blanket. For the children, they're always looking for books and toys. Puzzles are always a great thing for the younger children. Any kind of fun basket that you could put things for primarily the youth. Books are always good. And for the adults, things like lip balm, which can tend to get very much a need in the wintertime. Travel mug for drinks during chemotherapy. And I don't have an example of it, but something that is always sorely needed is lotion. But please make it unscented lotion, as most people going through chemotherapy are quite sensitive to scent. So I wanted to highlight these things because I think the student council doing this is just a wonderful, thank you, a wonderful program and opportunity and service element for people who are certainly in the battle of their lives.
Right.
So I would encourage, these are just some of the things that the Engel family are going to be donating. I would again ask any of my colleagues to consider taking this opportunity, and anyone watching, if you would please consider making a donation to the Baskets for Battle through the Xenia Student Council. That's all I have. Thank you very much, and thank you for indulging me on this rather lengthy report. This time we will move to...
Mr. President,
Yes.
these are certainly gifts that they could use, but they could always use cash, and that's when we call that.
Thank you so much. I neglected to mention, it was right here in my notes. Again, thank you so much. They certainly, if you do not wish to purchase items, monetary donations are greatly appreciated. Thank you. Okay, at this time, we will move to appointed official reports and council comments. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, sir. Just one item to update this evening, and I think we'll have a brief video clip of it here. We've been working with some community partners to celebrate current active duty and most importantly, veterans in our community. Xenia has a long, rich history of service in our community. Our public relations staff has been working to put this video together. We're very proud of it. We hope it's just the start of something that will gain momentum and can be extended every year. Recognizing city employees who have served, community members, both residents and non-residents here in Xenia. They've done a nice job with it. We can't say enough thanks to those who have served our country to help defend it. And just a little thing that we've put together. We'll be posting this online on YouTube. We'll be posting it via our Facebook, website, so forth, various mechanisms that we can get out there. Thank our partners at the county level for helping us to get this coordinated. So just a little snippet there. That should be published here probably the next day or so in time to celebrate Veterans Day over the weekend. So thanks all who have contributed. We'll be hoping to launch this as an ongoing program, continuing to add and celebrate year to year. So thanks to all those who have contributed photos for that. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Anything for our city manager this evening, please? Seeing none, Mr. Finance Director.
I have nothing else this evening.
Thank you. Anything for our Finance Director, please? Madam Law Director.
I have one item, either at the next meeting in November or the first meeting in December. I will ask council to appoint an ad hoc committee of 3 of you for the purpose of establishing some rules of council. That's something that I think council sorely needs. You have some things that are addressed currently in the ordinances, but they're rather old. So a chance for us to update those. The charter provides for boards and commissions that you as council are to establish the rules and procedures for all the boards and commissions. So it's a need not only for council, I think, but to set rules for your planning commission, traffic commission, board of zoning appeals, and your others. So if I could have 3 of you, if you'd just be thinking about that, who would be interested in working through that process, I will ask at your November 20th or your first meeting in December to do that.
Thank you very much. Anything for our Law Director, please?
Sounds like she's gonna make us work as hard as she does.
Seems like it. Moving on to council comments. Mayor, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Friday, October 26th, there was a ribbon cutting for Courthouse Coffee, and want to congratulate them. I know they've been established for a little while, but it's wonderful to have them part of this community in downtown. On Thursday, November 2nd, I participated in WCSU 88.9, their fall fundraiser. Again, was able to be on the radio for a little bit and promote some of the things that are happening here in Xenia. We talked a lot about the REACH project and the things that are going on there. So it was a fun time to be on the radio there. That same evening was the Citizens Academy. We took the field trip to the Ford Road wastewater treatment plant, and we, in my family, lovingly call it the poop plant. And it was something, that's right, took my kids to, and I'd like to thank our city staff and Eddie and allowing my children to go there and find out what happens when you flush the toilet. It's a big deal. And we experienced all of it, the smells and everything, and very educational. So if in the future you are part of the Citizens Academy, Ms. McPeak can attest to this as well. It is worth coming to. It's important. It's very educational. And there was a lot of hand washing that night. Today, I was at the Greene County Courthouse participating in a celebration of National Adoption Day. And Judge O'Diam, it's the first time that the probate court has put on this celebration, and it was really powerful. They did 3 adoptions there in the courthouse, and normally those are very private events, and the families agreed to allow people to come in, to allow the press to come in, and to participate in those adoptions. I had one person ask me, as an adoptive mom, what does it mean to have this adoption ceremony? And so for that person to actually see it and experience something that we've experienced, it's very moving, and it was a beautiful day. There was a lot of kids there, a lot of caseworkers there, and it was neat how we didn't just celebrate. We acknowledged all parts of adoption, that there are very difficult parts of it. There is sadness and broken hearts, but there is also joy and family. And I say this regularly. I said it today, and I'll say it again. If anybody is considering being a foster parent or an adoptive parent, my husband and I are open to talk about it. There are a lot of people at Greene County Children's Services that would love to talk to you, and we hope that people consider it. And then today, right before tonight's meeting, I had an opportunity to be interviewed by a young man who does a podcast here in our community. He's recently a graduate, I believe, of the Career Center and looking to get into radio. And he just exhibited a lot of courage tonight and stepped out of his comfort zone. And I was very impressed with him and how he handled himself. So I wanted to thank him, and we will hopefully put that link up at some point. And a reminder, Thanksgiving is coming up, and the annual community Thanksgiving meal is right around the corner. It'll be the last time that it is, just a few blocks from here at the Senior Center, 130 East Church Street. If anybody is interested in volunteering, they can contact me. This is also a time where we deliver meals. There we have a lot of people that every year they love to drive and deliver meals. And Meals on Wheels does not deliver that day, so this is a chance for people to still get a very authentic home-cooked meal. Our cook goes out, buys the potatoes, makes homemade mashed potatoes, all of that. So you can contact me at 937-603-5643 and request a meal. Or if you'd like to get out of the home and actually go visit with people, you can go to the Senior Center. It's from 11:30 to 1:30. The city actively participates in this meal by donating pies for dessert, and we definitely appreciate that. And one last note that the Bridges of Hope is back open. Today is, I believe, their first night, and it opened at 6 p.m. Intake is from 6 to 7, so we are very thankful to have the drop-in shelter open again, and we ask that people help spread the word. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilman Letterman.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Will Urschel for winning the write-in candidate. Look forward to working with him. I'm going to miss Mr. Scribbins. And all the Greene County public officials that got elected. Dick Gould's going to be a new Greene County Commissioner. We're going to look forward working with him. In my opinion, the two most important things on the ballot was the hospital and the Greene County Career Center. Both of them passed. I talked to Ryan this morning about how many employees does Greene Memorial Hospital have approximately?
Yeah, the number of employees is kind of difficult to say because they've got some that, work partially here and partially in Beaver Creek. But I can tell you I think the W-2s are in the 900 range, something like that. So those aren't all full-time employees, but they're, close to 1,000 employees that are working in some capacity in Xenia for Kettering Health Network.
So Greene Memorial is very valuable.
It's a very, very important institution in our community, certainly from a tax-based standpoint, but also obviously for the services they provide.
And if I understand it right, the Greene County Career Center was contingent upon the passing of the levy to move forward. I hope I'm not stepping out of line.
No, they are prepared to move forward. They've moved to acquire the site. I don't know if they've officially closed. I believe they have. So they were hopeful that the levy would pass, which it has. And so we fully expect that project will commence perhaps immediately here.
What's that going to mean to our key operating?
Yeah, so our projections in the first few years is about $50,000 net income tax revenue. But in the out years, once you get in years 6 to 10, it's somewhere in the $150,000 annually range that it'll mean to the city in our key operating funds. There's some CETA agreements and things like that that'll impact the income tax collections. But once you get several years down the road, the impact is significant.
It's worth noting that the value of that project beyond just the pure economic value or financial value is what it does from a workforce development perspective, highlighting our community as the home of the Take Flight Academy. That's just a tremendous opportunity, not only for Xenia, but for all of Greene County.
And lastly, it's not the end of the world that the street levy didn't pass. I think there's going to be some major changes at the top with a Democratic Congress and President Trump. They're talking about an infrastructure bill already, which will flow down to the counties and the cities. As far as the governorship, I think we're going to, cities are going to be pleased with our new governor. And I think the local government funds might not be returned fully, but I think they're going to be returned. Greene County, there's, like I mentioned earlier, I think there's some good changes there. And just one, Greene County gave us what, 45,000 recently.
I think attending a meeting, probably the first meeting in December, I believe, to present that check, and so it's a good sign of partnership on their part.
Have we determined what we're going to apply that to?
No, but our recommendation would be streets.
I was going to bring that up. I think it would be goodwill to everybody. And lastly, I've talked about jobs, and then some of this stuff is confidential, so I will not get into it, but we've got some interesting things on the front burner and the back burner. If one or two of these comes to fruition, that's going to build our base, our tax base, and without asking the citizens for a tax increase. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Smith.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to wish everybody a good Veterans Day on Sunday. And it is because of our veterans that we have the ability to vote in our country. And I'd like to thank everyone who showed out to vote, and very, very positive outcomes on most of the issues that came through. And like Councilman Lauterbach said, on the street levy, we certainly understand people's positions on that. We're going to work as hard as we can to do what we can with the resources allotted. Also like to thank the citizens for passage of the Charter Review Committee. I think that was issue 20, if I believe so. And kind of confusing on that. I got a couple phone calls, but basically just allowing citizens to actually have more input in our charter. So looking forward to that. On October 30th, I had the opportunity to attend a trunk or treat event put on by Xenia Community Schools at Shawnee Elementary. The weather that night was just absolutely gorgeous. 60 degrees, wonderful weather. A minimum of 1,500 kids came through. We gave out every bit of a couple thousand pieces of candy and actually loaned some to some of the other trunks that were running out. I know Dr. Lofton, superintendent of Xenia Schools, was really pleased with the turnout. And just an opportunity for like the city of Xenia, some businesses, the PTOs, just to give back to those citizens and their children, and to let them know that they're appreciated. And of course, the weather the next day wasn't as gloomy and doomy as we thought. And so we had a few kids at our door, and I appreciate that. The following Thursday, November 1st, myself, I know Councilman Scrivens, Councilman Dean, we were able to attend the coffee chat at the Coffee Hub here in downtown. That council coffee chat had a few citizens stop by. And appreciate those that took interest in attending that. That was from 6 to 8 that night. And so looking forward to Hometown Christmas, looking forward to a lot of good things that are happening in the city. If the council will indulge me, I do communicate quite frequently with the principals in our community schools. I'd like to talk to them and maybe just put together some little program to maybe allow 4th and 5th graders to maybe write an essay, have an opportunity for them to come and say the Pledge of Allegiance. We've talked about that before, and we've really not got that started. So we can talk about that at the next council meeting, but I'd like to maybe first of the year see if we can get some kids in here and just get some interest. Parents would come and watch the kids say the Pledge of Allegiance. So other than that, that's all I have, and appreciate all of those that are watching, and looking forward to good things here in Xenia. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilman Scrivens, please.
Thank you, Mr. President, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. President, just a few items here.
I noticed that we've finally gotten our standpipes on North Patton painted, and we got our old city logo on it, which made me feel too proud. We can see the city of hospitality now way out Jasper Road, way out 35 coming in, so that's good. I like kind of the way it's situated because I'm looking at the future at that intersection, and that really is going to enhance the neighborhood, so we thank you for that. We noticed that it's about time now for leaf collection, and I'm sure it's going to be raining and snowing, and it's going to be a hassle, but we ask everybody to, if you got an opportunity to get them leaves to the curb, get them to the curb, because they'll be freezing and sticking pretty soon. So, next council meeting, I believe we have a lady scheduled to give a presentation. Her name is Natalie Sherry. She's a nurse from Green Memorial Hospital, and she does a program called Stop the Bleed, and it's a program that we all could benefit from. As a matter of fact, everyone in the city of Xenia should learn how to stop the bleed. You never know when an opportunity will present itself where you have to stop bleeding. And that's something I think we should be prepared for, knowing how Xenia is a hub for emergency preparedness. We don't want to be caught with our pants down, so to speak. This Saturday, the Xenia High School boys will be scrimmaging Urbana. The varsity will be at the high school gym, and the 9th grade and the JVs will be at the Benner Fieldhouse. So we'll see what we got this year, and hopefully we'll have a winner. I want to thank all the veterans for their service. I want to thank all the Gold Star moms and families who had veterans. We want to thank you for sure for their service. They gave their all in all, and we thank you for that. Just one final thing, Mr. President. We're happy to hear Santa's on his way, and we're going to try our best to be there and be one of his helpers. We'll probably have to wear a green suit. But we want to thank everybody for their support for me for this year that I've had the opportunity to serve on this council. I want to congratulate everyone who ran in at the electoral process and were victorious. We congratulate you on your victory. For those who are not victorious, come back and try again. And just want to say thanks to our citizens for passing the charter amendment, issue 20. That passed by 4,291 votes. And we had 3,376 to vote no. That's a difference, a plurality of 915. So we thank you for that. On the other hand, our street levy, which we did not get out and promote wholeheartedly, we put it on the ballot and we asked the citizens to consider paying an extra $10 a month. Well, apparently, $10 a month is too much. So we'll have to take what we have and we have to live with it. So we kind of dry that complaining up now because we've decided that this is the way we want to go. So until next time, we have to go with what it is. And it is what it is. And it's going to be that way for quite a bit of time. So the citizens have spoken. I respect that decision. And I just can't wait to become a private citizen again so I can take up the cross again and follow it. So just want to say thank you for the time that I've been here, and everyone has treated me fairly, and they've even treated me with respect. And I didn't even anticipate respect, but I did anticipate fair treatment. So thank you to the city of Xenia, the population. Thank you to those who take their time to come out and participate in council meetings and have their voice heard on the local level. It's essential that your voice is heard at the local level. That's where the rubber meets the road. So we just thank everybody for everything that they've done. I want to thank each one of my colleagues. You've been tremendous. It's been fun. And I couldn't dream of working with a better crew of individuals than the ones that are sitting up here right now. These individuals all love the city of Xenia. They all do, and I'm confident of that. And as I step out and leave this chair for Mr. Will Urschel. I wish him good luck and Godspeed. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilman Dean.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to echo what Mr. Scrivens and Mr. Lauterbach said about the voters, thanking them for coming out, and also all the candidates who ran. And I'd like to especially thank Mrs. Carrico and Mr. Shaw, and congratulate Mr. Urschel on his win, and look forward to serving with him. Excited to see you go, Mr. Scrivens.
Hey, nothing good lasts forever.
You'll have to call in and tell the traffic commission what to look at. So miss that. Oh, one more thing. Also, Mr. Wallace was at the council chat on last Thursday.
That is correct. I'm so sorry. I zilched you.
Oh, it's all right.
Over there. Mm-hmm.
I was gonna mention that, no, is it not, sorry, you finished?
I'm done, yeah.
Okay. I was gonna mention that, I got an opportunity to go for the first time to the council chat, and, I enjoyed it. I got to meet some downtown merchants who I had not met before, and, I need to not stop in at their stores and see the rest of the story. And I'm very, very glad that Bridges of Hope is open again. It still concerns me that they had to close it down for the summer. But Lord willing, between now and next summer, that will take care of itself, and they'll be open around the clock and be able to continue the sphere of services that they hope to can ultimately provide. And I want us to talk about the election too, but I want to talk about it from the perspective that 54+% turnout in Greene County was superb. Just absolutely, you know, whether you like the results or not, it doesn't matter. The people of the county expressed themselves, and that is, as I feel like, how it ought to be, that the people got out and voted, and that not just in our county, but all over the country. Those just phenomenal results. I couldn't believe down in Florida they had almost 9 million votes cast in that gubernatorial and senatorial race down there. But I'm glad we had the outcome, the voting that we did in our county, even though I was a little disappointed with some of the results. On the street levy, I concur with both Councilman Lauterbach and Councilman Scrivens. My position always was that we had a problem with streets. We had a problem with funding of streets, and we wanted to ask the people if they were willing to pay for what they were complaining about. They weren't. So now we'll have to be imaginative and industrious and figure out other ways of funding the street problem, but we're going to do it, and we'll do the best we can with it. So we'll just have to, like we said tonight, we've got a little bit of a windfall coming from a source we didn't expect, so we're going to earmark that and apply it to the streets. And last but not least, and I apologize that I don't remember the name of our friend from DP&L, Eric. I asked him a few weeks ago to look at a problem for me that wasn't a DPL problem, but it was a tree down on 42 over some low-level lines. And it wasn't 2 days or 3, but they were gone, and I appreciate you. Even though they were not DPL's problems, it took the initiative and got on it. And I hate to bother you again, but there's another tree. And it's also on the road, so either Greene County or the state or somebody, but if it gets any heavier, it's going to pop those bottom lines that it's hanging across. But I do want to thank you, and I guess we should, while we're talking about that, just thank all the people in our own maintenance crews that do so much all the time to keep the streets clean, the catch basins clean, and everything else. And Levi, don't worry. You didn't know this because you weren't here, but Mr. Scrivens was here at every meeting as regularly as the rest of us were. So I'm sure we will see him.
We'll see him.
I'm like a bad dream. I keep coming back. God bless you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, and I would just echo the comments of many of my colleagues. No sense repeating all of them, just two in particular. One that's been echoed several times already. thank your veterans.
Yes.
They are worthy of your thanks, they are deserving of your thanks. Some have given some have given all,
Full measure.
and they have served us and our country well for hundreds of years now. And the other is just obviously to welcome our new colleague come the first of the year. We will certainly miss Councilman Scrivens, but we have a few more meetings with him, but we will be welcoming Mr. Will Ursher, Councilman-elect Ursher.
Councilman-elect.
So we will have some good meetings with Councilman Scrivens and then welcome a new member for another year before we have a full election cycle. And that's all I have this evening. And
Mr. President, I forgot one thing. Did any of you guys get this in your mailbox? How to manage conflict and confrontation. It's got 6 or 7 ugly faces on it. And nobody else got this?
I just haven't pulled it out, I guess, yet.
Just thought I'd bring that up. Evidently, somebody tried
to tell you
somebody tried to step in. Thank you.
On that note, I'll seek a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Moved and seconded by the Vice President and Councilman Louderback. Roll call, please.
Vice President Wallace.
Aye.
Councilman Scrivens.
Aye.
Councilman Lauterbach.
Aye.
Councilman Smith.
Aye.
Councilman Dean.
Aye.
Mayor Mays.
Aye.
President Eagle.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Did you really get that in your mailbox?
20th at 6.
I think he did.